Hello, world history students.
We're back.
Moving on to a new chapter, and this is about absolute rule. That's when a king or queen has complete, total power. And a lot.
Oh, sorry.
Don't interrupt.
I'm sorry. My bad.
If I was an absolute ruler, be off with your head.
Exactly. Do I get a detention for this one?
So this chapter is 5 sections long. Section 1 is about Spain. Section 2 is
King Louis.
Yeah, Section 3 is Austria and the Germanic kingdoms. Section 4 is
It's going to be Ivan the Terrible and, Peter the Great.
The Russian leaders. And Section 5 is back to England.
Yes,
So
the Glorious Revolution.
So today we're going to talk about Spain and also France.
Nice.
So the absolute monarchs, these are the kings and queens who have all of the power within their country's boundaries or their state's boundaries.
And I'd like to say that monarch is not a butterfly, although it's a type of one. Every time I asked the student what a monarch was, a butterfly. So,
Like my tattoo?
Yep.
The goal is to control every aspect of society, and they did. They grew immensely wealthy from the age of exploration,
Yep.
and they had complete control over their people. And they believed that they had divine right.
That God, religion was important, and God created the monarchy, so the only person they really had to answer to was God.
God. And they represented God here on earth. So, just like myself, answer only to God, never to my wife.
No, never to your kids, and never to you guys either.
So Spain's empire is going to grow immense from the age of exploration. They're going to control, obviously, Spain. For a long time, they're going to gain control of Portugal. The king of Portugal died and didn't have a son, and Spain will get control. There are huge land areas in the American colonies, which we talked about. Yep. And for a short time, the king of Spain will also be the king of, do you know?
No, I actually don't.
England.
England. You're right. I completely forgot about that. See, this is why I needed a refresher history lesson.
Which Spanish queen does he marry? Do you know?
Which Spanish queen?
I mean, English king. Queen. This is terrible.
Oh my gosh, what is going on with us today? We haven't done this in so long, guys. I believe you told me Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary,
yes.
That's right. Homework tonight. Turn off the lights in the bathroom, say Bloody Mary.
3 times and see what happens.
I wouldn't do it.
Nope, I haven't yet. To this day, I refuse to do it.
So the absolute monarch, King Philip, he collected between 1/4 and 1/5 of all the treasure brought back from the New World. And Philip believed it was his duty, to defend the Catholic faith. So that meant fighting any Muslims that could interfere with Spain, and also to fight the Protestants.
How perfect that he married Bloody Mary.
All right, so Philip's demise will come with the Spanish Armada, which was a huge undertaking to try to conquer England. He wanted to punish Protestant Queen Elizabeth of England, who he actually proposed to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
She was a nasty woman, though, never bathed.
Ew.
I like that.
I don't think many of them did. Ugh.
Philip's accomplishments: defender of the Roman Catholic faith, support of the arts, which you can find in Section 1 if you want to be a go-getter and read about that. But the Spanish Empire will grow weaker. Severe inflation, too much silver flooded the market.
High prices, not a lot of wages.
Yeah.
And then not a lot of money.
Taxation wasn't fair. They taxed the poor people and not really the rich. And they're going to kick out the Jews and the Muslims from the country, who were very important people, and now they're gone.
The Reconquista. I don't know if you remember that from previous chapters.
You're so smart. Here's a picture of the Spanish Armada, which will be defeated by the English.
Remember we said the English, at this time, have the powerful navy. You're usually going to be the most powerful country. So, unfortunately, the Spanish were not, we're not thinking that way, and we're not prepared for the might of the English navy.
And one more thing about King Philip. Nice picture of Louis here.
Yeah.
When King Philip was dying, and he died a pretty horrific death of cancer, he laid in his bed for the last 2 months, couldn't move. So his people cut a hole in the mattress, so his fluids could come out because he couldn't get out of bed.
Oh, really? So, they didn't have bedpans back then?
Yeah, it's a nasty job.
Oof.
So now on to Louis the 14th.
Yes, go from Spain to France. Beautiful wigs, lovely heels. Looking at that picture of Louis, it was a sign of royalty. So back then, it wasn't so much, what they look like. This was a symbol of, symbol of their power.
That's right.
The longer the hair, the better.
And look at the long legs.
Yeah. Why do they wear heels?
But Louis was a short guy, right?
Yeah, he was. He was pretty short, and gave them a little height, improved their posture, made them stand out, and just dominated the area, dominated the room that they were in.
So any of you short freshman boys,
Yep.
consider wearing heels. Chicks dug Louis, they'll probably dig you as
Hey,
well.
you never know. So Louis XIV, many historians think most powerful ruler in all of French history, and like a shining example of what it means to be an absolute ruler. So he becomes king officially at age 4. However, he can't have complete control quite yet. So Cardinal Mazarin is sort of the person who is going to be behind the scenes, actually running France. Louis once said, "I am the state," which means what?
He is all powerful.
He is
is
all
France.
powerful. He is France. Nicknamed him the Sun King, and anyone want to take a guess what that meant? Anyone? Meaning he was the center of the universe. Everything radiated from him, and everything revolved around him. And it is evident by his lavish lifestyle, anywhere from 20 to 30 people around him at any given moment, hundreds of nobles living with him at the Palace of Versailles, people there to hold his napkin while he ate, to dress him, to feed him, all to show his power.
They even wiped his
Insane.
royal hiney.
I think so.
Lucky.
I wonder if what kind of toilet paper, 2-ply or. So here's some images of the Palace of Versailles. Today's it would cost I think close to $3 billion to recreate the palace. 36,000 people worked on it. There were over 1,400 fountains. Anytime Louis walked by a fountain, somebody would be there to turn it on, and then when he walked by, they would turn it off. And here's an example of the Hall of Mirrors. 17 windows on one side looking out, 17 mirrors on the other side. Made it look grand, gold, crystal chandeliers, the whole 9 yards. Nothing was too much for King Louis.
Looks like the new wing at Maloney.
Yes, it does. I wonder if there's climate control. I wonder how many bathrooms are in there. So here's just another picture. Again, probably one of the ballrooms. So many rooms. One of my students actually said that they heard a rumor that somebody actually got lost in there because it was so big they couldn't find their way out. So
Maybe they're just stupid.
Yeah, maybe. I could definitely see it happening though. And these beautiful paintings on the ceilings. Just really, he was a supporter of the arts, a patron, and so that was reflected in the Palace of Versailles. And there's a sort of modern version. You guys can go visit it today if you wanted to.
Field trip.
Yeah, field trip. So France at this time under Louis, most powerful country, number 1 in army size, training, weaponry, and even though they didn't have the biggest navy, having a big army was really, really important. France is going to attack the Netherlands. They're going to get into some pretty costly wars that in the beginning are going to be successful, and France is going to expand. But unfortunately, due to, I want to say, maybe jealousy of some of the other countries, not wanting France to become so powerful, we see an alliance forming between some of the major players, England, Austria, Sweden, and Spain, to try to stop France from, getting too big for its britches, if you know what I mean. So, but in order to pay for these wars, Louis taxed the people, and a lot of that money went to pay for these disastrous wars and the Palace of Versailles.
The War of the Spanish Succession, when the King of Spain died, he promised the throne to Louis's grandson. And for a long time, from 1701 to 1714, there was a long war against France. They all were worried that France would become too powerful, controlling Spain and France, 2 major countries. These wars ruined France. People heavily resented the fact that they had to pay so many taxes. Yeah. They cheered when Louis died. And this eventually will lead to the French Revolution, which we'll get to in
other
Chapter
Louis,
7.
yeah.
So that concludes our first 2 sections on the absolute monarchs, and we will talk more about this in class.
Have a good day.